You know, it's funny. People think once you hit 50, dating should somehow be easier. Like, oh, you've lived this long. You must have figured it all out by now. Please. If anything, dating over 50 is like trying to learn TikTok in a moving car. It's confusing and awkward. Most people aren't actually struggling with dating, they're struggling with fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish, fear of wasting time, fear of getting hurt again, fear of getting naked with someone who doesn't already know where all your scars are, emotional and otherwise. And here's the thing about being over 50. You've survived enough to know that most people aren't thinking about you nearly as much as your anxiety wants you to believe, which means it's the perfect time to stop letting fear run the show and start writing your own damn script. If that's at all interesting or intriguing, I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda today. I don't care if you haven't dated since the Bush administration. No, either one. You're not too old and it's not too late. The world didn't quietly shut down the romance department the minute you blew out the candles on your 50th birthday cake. People are falling in love at 60, 70, and 80 years old. And guess what? They're having great sex too. Yeah, I said it. I once worked with a 73-year-old man who hadn't been on a single date since his wife had passed away over a decade ago. He dipped his toe back in thinking that nothing was going to happen, that he's going to feel ridiculous, and wound up in a relationship that made him feel more alive than he had in years. Not because he was trying to be 30 again, but because he was open to feeling 72 and still desired. You don't have to chase youth. You just have to choose possibility. One of the biggest fears? That history is going to repeat itself. You've been hurt before. Obviously, we all have. Maybe even cheated on. Maybe ghosted. Maybe emotionally wrung out like a dish towel. That fear makes sense. But you're not who you were back then. You're wiser now, stronger, and you've got better boundaries. So instead of bracing for deja vu, start dating intentionally. Ask yourself, what didn't work last time? And use that as your compass now. If you learned something, it wasn't a waste. That was relationship tuition. And listen, it's okay to bring your history with you. You just can't let it sit in the driver's seat. What matters more is what you do with that pain now. You can use it to build walls, or you can use it to build wisdom. That's your call. That little voice in your head that whispers, why would anyone want to date me? Yeah, that's fear talking. Maybe your body's changed. Surely it has. Maybe your life looks different than you thought it would, obviously. But confidence isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about knowing who you are and not apologizing for it. And that is so freaking sexy. I had a woman tell me once, she said, I don't feel sexy anymore because I don't look like I used to. And I said, honey, you're not supposed to. That version of you is long gone. And she didn't have the insight or the boundaries that you've got now. And confidence starts with showing up, saying yes to something small, a flirty conversation, even just putting yourself back on a dating app with a picture that actually looks like you do now. You don't need a glow up. You need to own your glow. But a glow up is not a bad idea either if you're up for it. A lot of people worry what others are going to think about them. Their kids, their friends, their exes. Ooh, before we move on, would you do me a favor and please hit that subscribe button so I can continue to bring you stories and conversations like this one? If you've made it this far, clearly we've bonded, and I'd appreciate it. Thanks. A lot of people worry what others are going to think about them. Their kids, their friends, their exes, maybe even their dog. But your happiness, that's not a group project. And if somebody's judging you for wanting connection and joy at this stage of life, that says more about them than it ever will about you. I once had a client who wouldn't let herself get on the dating apps because she was just so worried about what her adult son was going to think. She said, he's going to think it's weird. And when she finally told him, he said, oh, yeah, Mom, you should have been doing this years ago. So meanwhile, she'd been holding herself hostage to an imaginary conversation. People who love you want to see you happy. And the people who don't, they can watch from the sidelines while you go live your life. Real intimacy requires real vulnerability. And I get it. That is terrifying when you've spent a lifetime learning how to self protect. Walls don't just keep pain out, they keep love out too. You don't have to knock the whole wall down, but you do need to open a window now and then. Let someone see the real you. Say something truly honest. Even if it's just, I'm a little bit nervous. That's not weakness, that's connection. Vulnerability doesn't mean trauma dumping on a first date. It just means letting somebody meet the real you without a whole polished performance. That kind of honesty, yeah, it's magnetic. People can feel when you're being real, and that is where real connection begins. People say all the time, "Oh, I don't want to start over." But what's the alternative? Never start at all? Yeah, dating takes time, but so does healing. So does anything worth doing. And when you date with clarity and boundaries, you're not wasting time, you're investing it. Dating after 50 isn't about rushing towards forever. It's about seeing who makes your life lighter, who makes you feel like you can exhale and be yourself. That kind of energy is worth spending time to find. And if it doesn't work out, that's not really even a failure, it's feedback. Every date teaches you something, even if all it teaches you is that next time you're going to pick the restaurant yourself. What if I fail, you ask? You might. You might meet someone who's all talk and no follow through. You might get your hopes up and feel that sting of disappointment. But you might also meet somebody who gets you, who holds your hand through the hard parts, and who sees you, all of you, and doesn't flinch. I've seen it happen. I've had clients one who cried after the first date because she thought that she'd blown it. And that same date turned into 6 years and counting of a relationship, last I heard. Because you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. The only real failure is quitting on yourself. So here's your permission slip in case you need one. You are allowed to be scared and still go for it. Because courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It just means you show up anyway. I hope you found that interesting or helpful. If you did, you might want to check out this episode right here. Hey, before you go, please give Mom the thumbs up. She's asking for it like it's on her 1987 Christmas list. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel because fear might be holding you back, but clicking that button isn't really scary at all, I promise. I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and until next time, have a good one.